I grew up on a pig farm in Southern Alabama. I grew up below the bottom rung of the economic ladder. I grew up in a home with no insulation, no running water, outhouse in the back, well on the side. And I had to work very, very hard and keeping my nose clean and doing the right thing in order to build a life for myself. And I believe, going back to our earlier discussion, the American people are feeling the weight and the burden of every single person in the world wanting to come into our country, and many fellow Americans saying, yeah, any and everyone can come inside this nation. Now, the house that I just described, my great grandmother Rhoda grew up in that home. She was a slave. I have the blood of slaves coursing through my veins. And when I look at the 14th Amendment, this amendment was written for people like me, for people who have the blood of slaves, to say that in this country will never again look at people like me and say, I'm not welcome, I'm not a citizen. And so when we have others who come over here by sky, by sneaking under barbed wire, drop a baby, and then say, I'm going to use that anchor baby to bring in all my cousins and nieces and nephews. And now they too are going to reap the benefits of the nation that we've built on the back of on our back. So yes, I feel some kind of way, as you might imagine, about this particular bill and how it has been exploited. And to Charles' earlier point, these laws are written in a moment in history. They are not frozen. And now the U.S. Supreme Court has a decision to make. Was the 14th Amendment really meant to cover people who are here in clear violation of our laws, or was it aimed at people permanently and lawfully subject to U.S. jurisdiction, like freed slaves and their descendants? I am going to be watching, and I expect them to vote in the proper way.
And what's amazing about this is that, of course, the left is going to portray this as racist somehow, when actually it's coming at the expense of Black Americans, as we've sort of pointed out. A very similar thing is happening with the Somali fraud case coming out of Minnesota. You had fraud to the tune of, it's been uncovered, at least $1 billion, but now there are reports that this number has climbed up to $8 billion. News Nation, where I work, had a report that something similar is happening in Maine, to where a group of Somalis created fake NGOs in which they claimed that they were feeding hungry children and giving services to autistic kids and housing the homeless. And actually what they were doing was embezzling billions of dollars from American taxpayers. And of course, people pointing this out and how horrific and unacceptable it is to take advantage of the immense generosity of the American people to be gifted with the greatest privilege on earth, American citizenship, and then turn around and throw it in our faces by stealing from us. Somehow being upset about that is racist. So here we have a clip of a Minneapolis city council member making just this argument.
Thing I do want to say, and obviously everyone knows that our president is racist, xenophobic, Islamophobic, and we are going to fight that. America has a history of fighting and stopping those kind of individuals who continue to divide people and divide communities.
Kathy, let's start with you. I mean, how does that make you feel when you hear immigrants calling the president, defending your taxpayer dollars, racist? I mean, they're trying to erase the distinction between citizen and non-citizen with this race card. That's how it strikes me. What say you?
Absolutely. My first thought, talking about facts, because that's what he was saying. Another fact is that his country of origin really is a hellhole. And so that's a fact, and they don't want to talk about that particular aspect of it. But if you come to America, you don't get to live in little Somalia with better Wi-Fi.